As I'm sure you're already aware, with Season 3 of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, pay to win has finally entered the table for DMZ, with a bunch of bundles having advantages such as starting with a UAV, or starting with medkits, or increased armor, etc, etc, and I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot more coming in the future, potentially even worse ones that just haven't been added into the back-end files yet. This is just the beginning. I mean, technically, I guess it's not full-on pay to win, but it is certainly paying for an advantage, to put it lightly, and I've seen a lot of people defending these pay for advantage DMZ bundles, saying they're not really that big of a deal since the advantages that you get aren't groundbreaking or anything, and even if they're a slight advantage, it's not a major one, and I do agree with that, but paying for any advantage is always never a good thing. Everything that you were able to buy should always be able to be obtained in game, and like I said, even though these aren't that major right now, they certainly will likely get worse in the future if a lot of people do indeed pay for these bundles. If Activision see that their sales have gone up a lot by adding pay to win bundles, then they'll just make even more pay to win bundles in the future, being even worse, and right now they are just targeting DMZ, but you bet if they sell a lot of these bundles for DMZ, they will certainly add pay to win bundles for multiplayer and battle royale. It's only a matter of time. And I also want to talk about how this can affect zombies and how we need to put a stop to this, because this is very worrisome. But first of all, speaking of money, I first have a very awesome message to share with you. This video has been kindly sponsored by HelloFresh, which delivers fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes straight to your doorstep. It takes the hassle out of shopping and meal planning and turns it into a fun and affordable experience. Try out so many new recipes or dip your toes into home cooking for the first time, as HelloFresh gives you an easy way to start. Enjoy the convenience of whipping up a restaurant-quality meal right in the comfort of your own home without having to spend hours at the grocery store. What's more is that HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and takeout, making it a win-win for your wallet and your taste buds. Whether you are a busy individual or a family with picky eaters, HelloFresh offers a wide variety of delicious and healthy meals to choose from. You can customize meals by swapping, upgrading, or adding proteins and sides with calorie smart or carb smart options. And if you are short on time, you'll love the quick and easy recipes, ready in less than 30 minutes and still packed with flavor and filling portions. Quality ingredients as they are sourced from the farm to your doorstep in less than a week, ensuring that you always receive fresh, high quality produce. Cooking with fresh ingredients not only tastes better, but it can also provide you with more nutrients and a better overall eating experience. If you love snacking, HelloFresh has got you covered with a range of snacks, sides, desserts, and more at the HelloFresh market. Simply add your favorite goodies to your weekly order and they will arrive at your doorstep along with your meals. So why wait? Sign up today and try out HelloFresh for less stressing and more savoring meals with their high quality whilst being cheap and their quick and easy preparation. There's no reason not to, and you can even get 50% off your first box using the code that you can see on screen or via the link in the description. So bringing it back to the subject of this video, I think that this could be very detrimental for zombies, because we have seen that although there's been a lot of public outcry from the community regarding these pay to win DMZ bundles, on Steam's store they shot up to being some of the best selling ever. People need to stop buying these bundles, not just the pay to win bundles, but any bundles in general. Personally for me, I've only ever paid for a battle pass once, and I've never bought a single bundle for Call of Duty, apart from the free ones or the ones that you got with Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. Personally, I've never been enticed by cosmetics. And bear in mind, any bundle or battle pass that I buy is a tax write-off for me, since this is of course my job and I can make a video about it, so it can be seen as a business investment. However, with that being said, I've chosen to never buy bundles because I figured if I was buying bundles all of the time, I'll just be supplementing Activision's revenue. And the problem is, in theory, by buying these bundles, the extra revenue generated to Activision is supposed to supplement DLC now being free for Call of Duty. In turn, if they make more revenue from these microtransactions, we should be seeing more content added to the game, because they should be reinvesting that additional revenue into more content to get more people playing the game, who will then in turn buy more bundles, etc. But as we've seen historically with Activision, although their revenue has been increasing almost every single year from these microtransactions, microtransactions predominantly, they have not been reinvesting that back into the company. Instead, they've been taking lots of shortcuts, still rushing the developers to produce content in very short periods of time. They've been getting rid of a lot of developers and firing lots of people. All purchasing these microtransactions is doing is helping Activision's stock price and helping the higher ups and the CEOs such as Bobby Kotick. It is not helping the actual developers producing this content. All of the developers who are working on the bundles themselves see almost none or none at all of the profits that they actually generate via these bundles. Each of these bundles that they release is probably making millions, and yet the people who actually worked on them don't see any of that, and they're paid close to minimum wage, some of them. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and that's a big part of the reason as to why I've personally never been buying bundles. And I don't want to shame any of you who do want to buy bundles. Of course, it is your own money and you are entitled to buy them, and some of them do look very cool, but personally I just don't think the prices are all justified. Paying £15 or however much it is for a bundle, I don't see how I get that money's worth when I just get a blueprint and, you know, a couple of calling cards and an operator skin or something like that. It's never been worth it for me. And with Season 3 of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, when you built up the game, you just spammed with the Black Cell Battle Pass expansion to try and entice people to buy it, and you can't even get into the game without exiting about 3 of these screens. It's so annoying and so frustrating, and this shows where Activision's heads are at. All they're caring about is forcing people or getting people to buy these microtransactions instead of focusing on the actual game. And the Black Cell expansion is a whole $30, which is almost half of the entire game. You are telling me that this is worth almost half of the entire game? No, it isn't at all, and you can't even buy it with COD points. You can only buy it with direct money. And honestly, if we are ever to see any change with Activision, it will require people to stop buying these battle passes and the cosmetics, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'm not calling for a boycott because I don't think this is ever going to happen. I think people are just going to still continuously eat up this content. No matter how much we complain, Black Cell obviously received a lot of backlash on social media regarding the fact that it's almost priced as half of the full game, and the game is already a premium title for $70, Modern Warfare 2. They already have a premium battle pass, and now they have a premium battle pass. Now, this would be fine if it was just for Warzone, since that's of course free to play and they need to make money somehow, but it's a problem because it's also in Modern Warfare 2. If you buy the full game, you know, you're still going to have to buy this additional stuff. If Modern Warfare 2 owners were able to get a battle pass for free as well, then it wouldn't be as bad, but they don't. All battle passes should be free for Modern Warfare 2 owners, but that's never going to happen. And like I said, even though Warzone 2 is free to play, I don't mind them having a battle pass in Warzone 2, that's fair, but they certainly shouldn't be having pay to win bundles for DMZ. I think what's happened here is they expected DMZ to perform a lot better. DMZ is probably the most successful thing in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. It's the thing people like the most I've seen, but it still didn't meet expectations at all, and that's probably why we're seeing these pay to win bundles now, because Activision are trying to supplement their revenue due to their expectations not being met. And another thing I want to say is that, like I said, if people buy a lot of these pay to win DMZ bundles, you bet that Activision will probably greenlight similar pay to win bundles by the time that Zombies returns with Treyarch's next title in Call of Duty 2024. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw bundles where you get a free self-revive, or maybe extra health, or spawning in with armor, stuff like that. And whilst Zombies is of course not really that competitive of a mode, people obviously compete on the leaderboards. Since it is just players versus zombies, you know, it's not players against each other, people certainly do compete on the leaderboards for high rounds, etc. And we'll see Outbreak back in COD 2024, which maybe could see a DMZ variant, so we could see a Zombies DMZ variant, and I could totally see pay to win bundles again in that. So I think the future of Zombies is in huge jeopardy here. We need to say no to this as a community, because if not, it could get way worse in the future. We, like I said, could totally see pay to win Zombies bundles in the future. They already tried it with, I think, World War II Zombies, where I think you could buy self-revives, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played that game, but yeah, I am definitely very worried for the future. And the thing is, if we actually look at Activision's revenue, we see that Modern Warfare 2 sold way better than Vanguard. Their sales were up massively and their player base was up massively. However, the player base has actually dropped off a lot to almost Vanguard levels. Now, the player base is still really high. I'm not saying it's very low or anything. It's just low compared to past Call of Duties, but the game sold astronomically well. It was the fastest selling Call of Duty at launch ever. However, the player base is not almost at Vanguard levels now. Now, it is still higher, but it's almost close to Vanguard levels, which Vanguard sold a lot less than Modern Warfare 2. It was the poorest selling Call of Duty in over 10 years. So the fact that both of these games, one which sold literally 4 times more than Vanguard or something like that, is reaching about the same player count as Vanguard is very, very worrisome. But despite that, I'm sure Activision aren't that worried because their revenue is still massively up. Their revenue is way higher than Vanguard, and that's because way more people are buying microtransactions and buying the battle passes for this game, even though the player counts are now at a similar level. Like I said, they are still marginally higher, but they aren't too far off. And this is what I was saying earlier. Activision know that they can release poor products and they can release half-baked products. Call of Duty games keep releasing with fundamental features that have been in all the previous games being missing, and then them adding in those features as post-launch content months after launch. This shouldn't be acceptable, and this keeps on happening. We keep getting less content as well. We're getting less 6v6 multiplayer maps than ever before, and that's because Activision are making a lot more revenue from the microtransactions and these bundles, so they know they can release these half-baked products because their revenue will be supplemented by the microtransactions, and this is the problem with them. Like I said, in the future, I will continue to never buy bundles. The only bundle I'll probably ever buy is if they had a Richtofen one. I didn't even buy the Samantha Maxis bundle in Black Ops Cold War, even though it looks so juicy. Personally, for me, I could just never justify the price, and like I said, I don't mind if other people do, but you have to understand that as the consumers, we are voting with our wallets, and by us buying these bundles and stuff, it's essentially allowing Activision continue to do these shady practices. We will continue to get unfinished Call of Duty games. However, if less people bought the bundles, it will probably make Activision to better the games and make sure they are actually ready when they release, because they know the revenue won't just be supplemented by the microtransactions, because although the player count is lower because DLC is now free, they don't care about the player count because there's still a lot of people buying the bundles, the people that are still playing. Back in the day, they would probably be more worried about the player count decreasing because the less people would be getting the DLC, but now it doesn't matter because there's still a lot of people buying the microtransactions that are still playing. And just for the record, I still want free DLC. This is definitely the way to go. I don't think games really work with having paid DLC anymore, unless they're big expansion packs with, you know, a lot of new campaign DLC, which Modern Warfare 2 was supposed to receive. That got turned into a fully fledged game for COD 2023 instead, but I've talked about that in many videos. I think free DLC is a good thing. However, in theory, considering they're making more money now that DLC is free, and Warzone being free to play, with their revenue now being supplemented with just cosmetic microtransactions, that should allow for them to reinvest in the games to release more post-launch content, but that's not what we're seeing, and we're seeing less content than ever before, or at least it's spread out across many different modes. You know, overall, if we look at Call of Duty Mobile, the main CODs that release, the multiplayer, the Warzone, Zombies, DMZ, across all of the modes, there is more content overall, but individual modes are getting less content, such as multiplayer or Zombies, for example, and that's because it's being spread out across way too many modes, and Activision don't know where the focus is. They're trying to focus on Warzone a lot, but yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this. All I'm saying is the next Zombies game could be in jeopardy if they are going to be doing pay-to-win bundles like this for Zombies. So that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.